Hi, I'm Gilbert Huxley. We're here at the Indiana Expo Fishing Expo. It has been a great show for the last couple days. We're going to talk a little bit about carp fishing today. And a lot of people say, why, Gilbert, do you fish for carp? Well, I want to tell you that there's a couple reasons that really come to my mind, and that is the passion and the power of the carp. One of the things that I always say to a lot of people is my wife is my love, fishing for carp is my passion. The reason for that is the power of the carp. Today we're going to talk a little bit about some of the carp, the bad and the good. There are some good carp. I'm not saying that they're all good. What I'm talking about is the species of Carpio conspicuous, which are the 4 species we're going to talk today that we fish for. The other 2 that we're going to talk about, or 3, are carp in the carp family. But just like a bird, there's the cardinal, robin, sparrow. In the carp family, there are different ones too, and there are some very bad ones that are really doing a havoc on our ecosystem. Today we're going to talk a little bit about that. Carp that we fish for in Indiana was brought here by General Grant after the Civil War to feed the American people. And he had a choice between a grayling and a lake trout and the carp. The reason why he picked for the carp is because of the resiliency and ballistic of production on spawning. Carp can multiply in the hundreds, thousands. Now you say, wow, that sounds great for food, but in the 1940s, freeze drying was invented and carp was no longer needed for the American people. Now they're a nuisance, but the DNR has been doing a great job on thinning the population of the carp that are doing it really bad for our ecosystem. One of the bad fish we're going to talk about today is the silver carp that jump out of the water and are injuring fishermen, doing havoc on our ecosystem. Ladies and gentlemen, I hate to say this, but they are in Lake Michigan. DNA has proven they are in Lake Michigan. But the scientists are coming up with a method to attack their DNA so they can be sterile, made sterile, so that this population will diminish over the years. It is going to be the benefit of our generations, our younger generations, to control this fish. That's enough of that. Let's talk about carp fishing here in Indiana and what we fish for and why we fish for them. One of the strongest fighting fish in freshwater, in my opinion, is the carp. For one reason, is that they have no nerve endings in their mouth, so when they get hooked, all they feel is resistance, which gives them the chance to have major power to fish, to give you. And some of the equipment that we use, you'll see that there's a reason for all this equipment and the length of the rods and the alarms. We'll talk about that in a few minutes. I want to show you the 4 species today that we fish for. The common carp, that's the powerhouse. This is the one that everyone comes to America. This is the one that I'm always looking for, that big 30 and 40 pounder, because they are the power. The koi carp, now we were talking about invasive species. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the only one in the 4 that we fish for in this species that is invasive, because these are the ornamental decoration carp, and they're in the family pools and the little decoration ponds, and they got a little creek or river running behind their home. That creek and river floods, grabs those kois, and has been introduced to the wild. The one thing about the koi is the growth of them is determined on the size of their habitat. So when you see them in small ponds, they stay this big, and they stay that big for a reason, because of the small habitat. Look what happens when they hit the wild. These fish are monsters because their habitat has gotten bigger, so have them. They're a great collection. They're not that easy to catch. When you do catch one, you'll see the difference in the power that they do not have compared to the common. Right here is our preference carp. These are mirrors. They, here in the United States, we look at them as being a choice or a rare catch, but overseas, the mirror carp is more dominant over the common. The common overseas is determined to be the rare carp. So a lot of the Europeans come over and love to come and fish for our mirrors. The mirror is a spliced species to control the scales on the fish, because they eat these carp overseas. This has a better tasting meat, so indeed, that's the reason why they limited the scales for cleaning. The leather carp is not here in the United States. It's over overseas. You may find one or two with one scale here in the United States. That makes them a mirror instead of a leather. A leather has 0 scales. And they were inbreeded so that for easy stripping of the skin and get to the meat. And the ladies in overseas loved the leather because it was really, really easy to clean. So we got a few pictures here of the guys in the club, the Hoosier Carper Club. We are an annex club of the Carp Anglers Group here in the United States. And this is just some of the guys from all over. Here's Del Hollow. Here's a place called the Syndicate in Ohio. St. Joe River, northern Indiana. Let's see, what else can I pick? There's Dale Hollow down there in the corner, a secret swim of Dan's. Here's Wig Slinker, the 2-time North American champion. This is in Washington, D.C. He caught that beautiful mirror and won biggest fish and the tournament. So what I'm trying to say is Hoosier Carpers have really come a long way. We started out with 7 guys. We've got over 100 active members in our club right now. We have virtually over 200 that are interested in our club and comes to some of our events from time to time. So with that in mind, our tournament trail has from 80 to 100 people on our tournament trail every time we go. We used to think if we could get 20 people to come that was a big day, but now we have to turn people away at every tournament trail. So it has grown every year thanks to Westside Bait. Visit Westside Bait in Indianapolis by the zoo. That's where you'll find 1/3 of the products that we use. So please visit Westside Bait. Some of the baits we use for carp fishing are a lot of American-made baits and also the European baits. The boilies were devised by the Europeans because the brim over there are huge, and they would virtually tear up corn, tiger nuts. So they had to come up with a bait that the brim could not take. The boilie is virtually a dough ball, rolled and boiled, and keeps its form. So it's a great bait. It's got amino acids, grains, vitamins, the whole works. Pack bait, ground bait, method. These are some of the terms of a dough ball. A big dough ball that breaks down in the water becomes a pack. A dough ball does not break down, it stays and keeps its shape. So this is actually a pack. You put some particles, some sweet corn in this mix it up, and when it hits the bottom and you have your bait right on there, you will just see that it breaks down and rises and breaks down. So a great thing to have is some good ground bait. Of course, an old guy like me, I don't buy anything commercial, I make my own. When I say on the hook is what the bait is, sweet corn is my favorite with my favorite flavoring, but you actually can buy flavored corn for your hook. Westside Bait. Small, you don't want to buy a big bag. Here's a world-class boilie that is very, very good. This is strawberry, one of the great flavors. Some more corn. It's called Big Bob's. This is field corn that's been boiled and has been high pressured, as infused with the flavor. This one here is mosquito larvae flavor. Yes, carp love larvae. So this is some of the baits. Now I was talking about flavors. Here's one of the flavors. Bubba's sells a West Side bait. Once again, being a carper for 30 years, I make my own flavors too. But I've heard that this brand here is outstanding. Great for the pay lakes. I'm going to talk a little bit about the gear, and then I'm going to let you go. A lot of people ask me, what the heck is all this for carp fishing? It is an advanced system for bank fishing, and you'll see these all over Indiana now. With the number of people we have fishing for carp now, they're in a lot of our state parks, and you'll see setups like this. Now this is my ego problem, guys. You can buy a lower expensive carp setup that does the exact same thing that this big ego problem of mine does. I use 13-foot Fox Warrior rods, and they say, why 13 feet? Why such big rods? For two reasons. One is when for casting, I can throw 100 yards. If I see something, I see some carp working, I want to throw in front of them, I can get to them. In the same return, when I hook that fish, I have the rod with the power that can bring that fish in safely, take pictures, weigh it, and release it alive. A lot of people say, you use a noodle rod and you hook a 30-pounder, you're going to kill it. I believe that 100%. We use landing mats on the ground. We use weigh slings when we weigh them, and then we release them with a lot of spirit and a lot of power because of the fact that we're using enough rod to bring those fish in quickly. I have examples on YouTube already on the carp rigs that I use, the hair rigs, the blowback rig, the anti-rejection rig. Just like in bass, there is rigs that are specially for different times of the season. And when the carp takes one of my rigs, it's automatic, almost like an automatic hook set system. When he runs, then my alarm will sound just like that. And this old man, his heart will be pounding. I run up, hit the bait runner, which is a 2-drag system on the reel, set the hook, and the fight is on. One of the things that I stress to you is when you hook a carp, let the first run go without any resistance other than your drag. After that time, you better gain some line or it will spool you. It's happened to me many times. There's 350 yards there. I throw 100 yards. He runs 100 yards. If I don't gain some of that line, the next run could be a spool. And believe me, that can happen if you let that carp run too much. So gain some line when you get a big one. When I talk about carp fishing, a lot of people say that I show the passion for carp fishing, and I will truly tell you that the power is why I fish for carp, which drives the passion, the hours of walking through the bait shop, the hours of walking to the grocery store looking for something, that secret ingredient that's going to make me a star, you might say, as far as in the tournaments. It could happen to anyone. We have a young generation of carpers right now that's bringing new baits, pack baits to the tournaments and have been killing us old carpers. So I invite all of you to come to Indiana Carp Talk and ask some questions. Join the fun. We are a family club and we're going to have fun this year. We got a lot of activities planned. So please check us off online, and I appreciate everyone here today. Have a great day.